We are back where it all started, doing some garage tours. I am Aaron, this is Husman Bros, and Justin is on vacation again. But make sure you subscribe and watch all of our videos so you can see when he comes back and exactly how tan he is. So today, we are at another garage. We're gonna do a garage tour. We've shown you some of these garages before, but it's been a little while. We have one today. A lot of garages we've shown you are really pristine. They're great. They're more lounge than garage. The cars are more art than it is a place where you really work on them. Maybe we've seen some working areas, but not serious heavy lifting kind of work. This is a different kind of garage. This is a working garage, and it provides a great space to be able to work on your projects, get them completed, but also leave them behind and go back to a clean home. So let's go in. They got some wild things in here. Let's check it out. All right, here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Grayson, and you can find him on YouTube at Living Like Gray. Little known fact, all YouTube people hang out and talk videos all the time. So that's what we do. But in his spare time, when he's not talking about videos, you got this Datsun. Tell us about this, Grayson.
Yeah, so like you said, I like to make YouTube videos, and I kind of started with the Datsun here. This is a 1978 Datsun 280Z. I picked this thing up my freshman year of college back in 2019, right before COVID hit. And I saw it on Craigslist. Originally, I was looking for a Miata, and I thought I was never going to be able to really afford a Datsun because prices were just going up, and they were all getting bought up, and they were all kind of rusting out if they weren't being bought. So when I saw this on Craigslist, I thought, I gotta buy it, I gotta get it right away. Actually, I had an exam the same day, so I did my exam, drove down to Dallas, bought this, and then drove all the way back to Oklahoma because I just couldn't pass on this car. So,
was this car originally white?
So it was originally, I think it was blue underneath, but the previous owner resprayed it. The previous owner did a lot of the body work to it.
Yeah.
I have since gone in and done a lot of the aftermarket functional stuff, so engine, transmission, suspension, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Has it been modified? Have you done any upgrades on it?
Yeah, this is nowhere near stock, and that's actually what I wanted. I didn't want something that was really clean and pristine and original because then I wouldn't feel like I could drive it. I wanted something that I could experiment with, and I learned a lot on this car. So when I first bought it, again, I was just getting into college. I was just in college. I didn't have a lot of experience working on cars, so I learned a lot. I made a lot of mistakes on this car, but that was kind of the point of it. So.
And what's the purpose of the car? I mean, I see it's very race on the inside, very minimalist, not completely modified on the inside. Looks like we got the original dash, but you've simplified it a little bit. We got some switches in here, some carbon fiber. What's the plan? Yeah,
so this is definitely not really a comfortable car, I'll say that. It's definitely more of a race car. What I did is basically went through, put in some fixed back bucket seats that are kind of got that classic look to it. It's got a race steering wheel. It doesn't have AC, so it is not comfortable in any way, especially here in Texas.
Yeah.
But we've added some performance stuff to it. So it's got some Brembo brakes, some BC coilover suspension, and then obviously we got the front air dam and the rear duckbill spoiler on it. So definitely more set up as a race car, but it's also just kind of for me to experience and show off in shows and drive it on the street and pretty much whatever I want to do with it. So.
Yeah, has it been lowered?
It has been lowered, so it's definitely, I'd say we're sitting just about like an inch above the tires. So
if that.
Yeah, if that. So it is a rough ride, I'll say that,
yeah.
But it does handle really well. Since it is a very light car, it's very small, it just can take a corner like nobody's business. So,
well, it looks fantastic. Classic Datsun Z look. I love it. So let's show you more of the garage. You can see the floor. We've got this epoxy floor. It's really simple, monochromatic gray, but it is glossy, so if you get spills on the floor, easy to clean up. If you haven't done an epoxy floor yet, highly recommend it for the garage. It'll change your life. But like I said, this is a working garage, so you can see it's not fully organized and pretty and pristine. You got cables, you got jacks, you got some old oil, some jack stands here, but there is some lounginess to it as well. Grayson has his sim over here, which is a lot of fun. And of course the workbench area, got the big tool set and the big tool box. Even has a 3D printer for printing parts for his builds. So that's next level garage right here. We're talking about 21st century garaging here. Of course, you gotta have your wash station, and what garage isn't fulfilled if it does not have parts laying around. A project as well. Here we have a, gosh, what is this, Grayson? I know it's a Honda, but is it a 60s?
So this is a very interesting project, and it's been a project since I was in high school. So one of my buddies called me up, said, hey, I know you like motorcycles. I've got this old motorcycle, you can just have it. And it's a 1974 Honda CB 350F, so it's a four-cylinder. Notice it's nothing right now because it doesn't have an engine.
Yeah,
but
it's really a frame.
Yeah, it's a frame.
Tank and seat.
Like, I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna actually build this thing or if I'm just gonna kind of go buy an actual motorcycle. I do love these vintage Hondas, especially the four-cylinders.
Yeah.
I love that cafe racer style look, so I might just buy a new bike that fits that look. Yeah. Or I might end up rebuilding this. We'll see. Depends on how popular it is on the YouTube channel.
Well, Grayson, you've had a lot of years to think about it. I would recommend something about pissing or getting off the pot.
Yeah.
So continue to check it out. Of course, you got your motors over here, all your different car parts, motors, transmissions, wheels. You could probably build an extra vehicle out of all this. You put a little Frankenstein together. And right here we've got is nice, a little pony wall that comes out, gives yourself some storage space. They've got a big air compressor in here. Yes, it is tilted right now, but that's what they're using the 3D printer for, to put some spacers on this thing. So, but this is a great area to be able to stuff this away and get it out of the way, and you know, just a little bit less clutter around the garage. And as we continue over, this section of the garage would be called the junkyard section. There's a sign somewhere around here that says that. But this is where we've got the donor car to one of Grayson's other vehicles. It has parts all around it and in it. But that's what a garage is for. You got this project is not in the way. Your wife's not coming out into the garage going, move that nasty car, I don't want that piece of crap. So that's what we love about our garages, away from the house, being able to go and store your stuff, have your projects, and take care of business. Now, here is one of the next vehicles. This is a daily at this point.
Yeah, so this has been my daily since, this was my first car. It's a Subaru BRZ 2017.
Okay.
Got this back in high school, and I've kind of driven the crap out of this thing at this point. It got me back and forth from Oklahoma to Texas when I was going to college. Drove it to high school every day, and it's kind of evolved just very slightly over the years.
Yeah.
So it got hail damage a couple of times, and insurance. We were able to, basically they said to replace the hood, and so I was like, while we're replacing the hood, let's put a little extra money in it and get a nice vented carbon fiber hood out of it.
Very nice.
So, and
now, is this whole hood carbon fiber or just the vent?
So the whole hood is carbon fiber, and then we painted it to match. So,
very nice, yeah.
We did that. The interior is pretty much stock. We did do an exhaust on it, so it's got a simple catback.
Yeah.
And it did have some wheels and tires and a couple other little things done to it, but I needed the wheels off of this car for the next project, which I'll show you here in a second.
Okay.
But
yeah, let's talk about that one. But before we do that, I'm walking past this area over here, and I am really in awe and a little bit jealous. This is fantastic. This is a car wash station. These garages actually were built with the plumbing at the back of the garage. We kept ours at the back of the garage, didn't really think about it until after the fact. So we recommended to Grayson when he was building to go ahead and get the plumbing to the front of the garage so you can wash the cars. But I really like this car wash station. So of course we got our plumbing up here. We've got our soap and wax.
No, so this is actually a filter. So this is a, notice there's a splitter here coming off the faucet. Yeah. One, basically you clean the car with this pressure washer from Giraffe Tools. This thing is one of the best purchases we've ever made.
Okay.
And then afterwards, basically, this is pretty hard water here in Carrollton. You wouldn't necessarily want to drink it directly out of the tap, I'm sure you know. So what we did is that will actually leave spots on your car. It leaves kind of like this, it kind of looks like scaling all over the car, just this white thing. And either you got to wipe it off, or this is a spot-free rinse. Basically, there are two ionized filters that will filter out. See, notice how dirty these are. Yeah. That would have all ended up on your car if we didn't have these filters. So once you're done pressure washing it, you go back and do the spot-free rinse afterwards, and it leaves it nice and clean and free of any scaling. So
I was a little jealous before. I'm a lot jealous now. What does a car wash station like that set you back?
Not much, I don't think. I don't remember exactly. I think maybe $600 total for all of that.
Okay.
The only thing that I would change is we would get bigger filters. We have to change those out pretty frequently.
Okay.
And then we are obviously, you see all the towels and stuff on
Yeah.
the floor. We'd probably mount those up on the wall too, which we'll probably still do. We just haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah. So I think everybody probably spotted this when we first opened the video and wants to know a little bit more about this. This is a pretty radical looking vehicle. What is this, Grayson?
So this is a kit car that we've been building for the past year. It's called a DF Goblin. Super cool thing. I've wanted one of these things for the past 3 or 4 years now. Basically, I kind of came into a position where I could actually buy and build one. So if you guys have ever heard of the Ariel Atom, this is kind of based on that. It's the affordable do-it-yourself Ariel Atom. It's got a 2-liter 4-cylinder supercharged engine out of a Chevy Cobalt, which is what you walked by earlier.
Right. Yep.
So it uses a Chevy Cobalt as a donor. You take pretty much everything out of it, combine it with some new parts and a new frame, move the engine to the back, and then you get this.
So when you buy this, does it come with a wiring harness? Do you have to buy your own wiring harness?
So what you do for the wiring harness is basically you have to rework the stock harness. So you have to take the Cobalt harness and rework it so it's configured for a rear engine. Luckily, DF, if you're not a big wiring guy, the people you buy the kit from, you can send them the harness for a little extra money and they'll rework it for you. And then all you gotta do is put it back in.
Okay.
So that's what we did. We didn't wanna spend hours and hours trying to fiddle with a harness that may or may not work. So, and totally worth the money in my opinion. It sped up the process substantially.
And so, speaking of wiring, it looks like we're not quite done yet. Still got a little bit to connect.
So, yep, again, like I said, this has been about a year in the making.
Yeah.
Basically, still have to wire up like the rear taillights. These just came in recently, and then we've got a third brake light to wire up. But after that, we should be pretty good to kind of move forward with registration on this.
Okay.
That's kind of our next challenge that we're facing. But this is a very fun car, and in fact, I can take you for a ride in it later if you're up for it.
I am up for it. We'll do that.
So obviously, it will just be around the parking lot because it is not registered, but still be fun regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, so this is the garage area, which is where the magic happens, of course. But these garages, it's not all about downstairs. There's a lounge upstairs too. Let's go check that out.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Yeah, so the upstairs, we did it a little different from other garages. You've seen a lot of garages, especially around here. We went a little different. We kind of wanted lounge space, which is what most people do, right?
Yeah. But I know you also work out of your garage too.
Yeah, so this is kind of my office. So we do a lot of video editing. As you know, we do a lot of photos, video editing. We have a desk here. We're adding another desk right here.
Okay.
But basically, we come work here, we film downstairs, and then come upstairs and edit everything.
Yeah.
And then we'll even watch the videos on the big screen, see if there's any, it's a little easier to find kind of mistakes or, you know, you hear it with the proper sound, make sure the audio's not peaking or any audio issues there.
Yeah. Well, it's different, but it's much the same. Like many garages of our friends, we have a Parnelli Jones print up here.
Yeah, so you know where you get this one.
You got number 29.
And do you know why I did number 29?
No, why did you?
So my birthday is 29th of November. So I figured 29 was pretty fitting. I know you guys have one of these, Dennis.
Yep.
Another garage guy here was like, hey, I got what was it, 100 of these? It was 500. He's got 500.
Every single one of them.
And so he handed them out to people who knew what Parnelli Jones was, so we were lucky enough to get one.
Which shows how magnanimous Dennis is. Really, he had all 500 that were ever made of this print. He could have just kept number 1, thrown all the rest away, and then he would have a very unique piece of art.
Yeah, exactly. But no.
Instead, he shared it with all of us, so we appreciate that. Let's take a walk around and see what we can see. So, of course, you got some good car pictures up. Grayson takes a lot of pictures. He was able to create a calendar for himself. Now here's an image that some of our big fans might recognize. This is from one of our previous garage tours, Ultimate Man Cave Tour. Go check out our video library to find that. This was a fantastic 2-part series. Here you can see he's got an Alpine and a Porsche 906 vintage race car. And that was a great series. I highly recommend going and checking that video out. So of course, this is where the work is done. And when you're done working, it's time to relax. And so that's what we're doing over here in the lounge area. So what do we have going on over here, Grayson?
Yeah, so we wanted to be kind of very purposeful. We didn't have a lot of space. We kind of had this little square area, so we were trying to be as efficient as possible to get as much done here. So we have a donated coffee table from your friend Kenan. He gave us this coffee table. It gets the job done.
Magazine rack, nice.
Yeah, magazine rack. We got some awesome Porsche magazines. We got some Porsche coasters. Again, we're big Porsche people here. We got a couch. This couch is actually a sleeper couch. Now, as you know, you can't technically live in these. I get that all the time. Why don't I just live here?
Yeah.
But I can legally take long naps overnight. And so that's what that couch is for.
Yeah.
And then we got the big TV. Again, we watch our videos up here, or we can just play video games or watch movies.
Automotive collectibles here as well.
Yeah, some of the dream cars, as you can see, I've got a Datsun. You got to have a small car for every big car you want.
That's right.
You got a few dream cars sitting here, and
then this really nice looking recliner you got here.
Yeah, so this is kind of a funny story. There's a couple funny stories with this recliner.
Okay.
My dad insisted that we get a recliner. He's always wanted a recliner his entire life, but my mom is the one that decorates the house and said that he cannot have a recliner. So when we got this space, he was like, I need to get a recliner. He got a recliner. And then this recliner was almost responsible for burning everything down. So
that's why your mother never wanted one in the house.
That's why she wanted. So basically what happened is it is a spinny recliner, and it is electric. So the power cord got wrapped around from people spinning in it.
Yeah.
And one day it got frayed, shorted, and started smoking. And luckily I was able to run over and unplug it in time, but it was popping and shooting sparks everywhere. It was definitely kind of a freaky experience, to say the least.
So there you have it, folks. If there is some piece of furniture or something that your wife will not let you bring in the house, you're gonna have to get yourself a garage and put it there yourself so you can burn it down if you want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, of course, if you're hanging out at the garage and you are doing work on the cars or hanging out, relaxing, enjoying a beer or two, eventually nature's gonna call. So no garage is complete if it doesn't have a bathroom area. And so that's what we've got here. Just really simple, something where if you're all sweaty and greasy from working on the car, you can hop in the shower and clean off, and certainly you can drain the main vein if you need to, or wash your hands and get the grease off of those there at the sink. So it's a pretty simple garage, but it does the job. It's what you really need out of a garage. This is a working man's garage. Grayson gets a lot of stuff done up here, both on his cars and for work. So that's some of the other stuff that you can do with these garages. This is one flavor, but we've got several other garage tours that we've done. Go from simple to really, really over the top. Now, Grayson mentioned earlier that he would give me a ride in the DF Goblin, and I'm gonna take him up on that offer. Let's go for a ride, Grayson.
All right, so this is a little difficult to get into, so let me show you kind of how I do it.
Door handles or anything?
Yeah. So you're gonna kind of sit on this bar here, put your feet in first.
Very Dukes of Hazzard.
And then kind of slide in. Yeah, it's like going through like a NASCAR window.
There you go. All right.
Yeah, so you just kind of fall in there. So.
You got lap belts?
No, we don't.
5-star. We got nothing.
So you're just gonna kind of. Luckily, you got plenty of handles to grab onto.
So, fun fact: at one point, I had a go-kart when I was younger. It was a 2-seat go-kart. We had it up at a local football stadium. We were driving around the parking lot, and my friend was driving me, and he turned to me and he said, "Are you ready?" I said, "For what?" He said, "Hold on." I said, "To what?" And he just jerked it left all of a sudden, and I didn't have my seatbelt on, so I went tumbling out of the go-kart that way.
Well,
he was turning that way.
Luckily, we got big enough bars, so
exactly.
I don't think you'll go tumbling out.
Yeah.
So,
all right, well, let's go for a ride. All right, the roles are reversed. The talent has become the cameraman, and the cameraman has become the talent. We are in the Goblin. We are going for a ride. Now, as Grayson said, we're just going to ride around the parking lot because it is not street legal.
When it's street legal, you'll have to come back and I'll take you for a ride on the street with it.
I think I'll take him up on that offer too. It seems like a lot of fun, even though we're just going very slow around the parking lot. I can tell once this thing is fully put together, registered and roadworthy, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I'll give you a little blip of kind of what it feels like. So it's only 1,700 pounds, I think, 1,500.
Yeah.
And we've got about 300 horsepower.
All right, here we go.
So that was about 20% throttle, I'd say.
it.
So what do you think?
Cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
So once it's fully done and it's road legal, I'll take you for more of a ride. But
excellent.
That's a little test drive and a little taste of what you'll get for the future.
Well, I also might need to just ride it in the future too.
Well, we'll see about that. Depends on my insurance, right? No.
Well, Gray, thank you very much for letting us into your garage and welcoming us in, giving us a tour of the place. Really cool stuff you got in here, and definitely the DF Goblin is a lot of fun. So this is a little taste of the garages. We've actually done several of these garage tours, and they range from basic, just starting out, what are you going to build from it, all the way up to way over the top. So make sure you go check out the library and check out some of those garage tour videos. Leave us a comment on this video. Let us know what you liked about the garage, what you would add to the garage, and more than anything, make sure you come back and see us next time. Justin might even be here.